when we talk about individual training, or when a parent hires an individual trainer to work with his or her son or daughter, essentially what we're doing a lot of times is hiring somebody to help with deliberate practice. And so to be able to give the important feedback that can help that player accelerate their learning. Now, there are probably some other reasons why a parent may hire, an individual coach, potentially motivational, social, emotional. There's different reasons, but for the most part, many, if not most, individual trainers are advertising themselves as skills coaches. And so, from an individual standpoint, they're supposed to be giving deliberate practice. That's, at least according to Kay Anders Erickson, that's the best way that, people can improve on a skill in the fastest way possible. So that's what individual trainers should be giving to their clients. The problem is, deliberate practice is geared around making specific improvements to accelerate learning, to improve that skill. So, for instance, I have some flaw in my shot, so I'm going to work with this coach to improve this flaw, and this coach is going to provide both the drills, the planning of the session, and also the feedback. And so we have a very specific goal, fixing this issue with my shot. The coach provides the important feedback. We do activities that are based around this, the goal. And so we fit within this kind of category of deliberate practice. It's different than what you might get during a team practice, where in a team practice the coach may not have enough time to dedicate that kind of attention to each player, and the player may not be able to sustain his or her attention and concentration and focus on the task with other players there, and in a competitive environment, etc. So the problem then becomes, if I'm finding this trainer because I want to work on this one specific problem, to get the deliberate practice to improve that skill. Well, once I fix that problem, then what are we doing? How is that fitting into deliberate practice if we just keep doing the same thing over and over again? One of the things that Erickson talks about in his book Peak is that the deliberate practice, or deliberate practice is moving players outside their comfort zone. So if, going back to, one of the tweets about McDermott from the Bulls and how he shoots 100 shots after practice and he only misses 8 or 9, so he's shooting 90%. Well, how is that practice moving him outside of his comfort zone? If he's doing the same thing every time, getting the same results every time, what kind of practice is that? What is he learning? How is he improving if the results are the same? Just in the practice environment, the results are the same every single time. He's certainly shooting within his comfort zone, not being pushed to the limit of his skills or his talent. And so, the average kind of basic individual workout tends to be more general. So we're going to work on a little bit of ball handling, then we're going to work on a little bit of shooting, then we're going to work maybe on a little bit of one-on-one moves without defense. And so I question whether there's that specific purpose, whether we're correcting something specific. Now, obviously, in some cases, there is. We're, really focusing on the reception of a dribble on a dribble move, or we're, again, fixing a flaw in the shot, or we're trying to increase the range for somebody's shooting. So there's a specific goal. We can create specific drills to, fix or improve or work towards accomplishing that specific goal. But a lot of workouts, it's just kind of, putting in the work, putting in miles, and which that becomes kind of mindless practice. So we're just showing up because I have an appointment with a coach, and the coach is just going to give me some drills, and I've already done the drills, and I'm competent at the drills. So where's the improvement? How am I being pushed outside of my comfort zone? And in some cases, when we're trying to create more complicated drills, is that push to try to get outside the comfort zone in activities that are really related or that transfer to game performance. So if I'm trying to dribble 3 basketballs at a time because that's outside of my comfort zone, is that going to improve my performance during a game? If I'm dribbling up the court with my personal trainer pushing against me, is that going to improve my performance in a game? So these are the questions I think we need to ask when we're thinking about individual training, whether from a trainer perspective or from a customer's perspective. Why, if I'm a parent, why am I paying for an individual trainer? What are we trying to get out of that? Are we talking about the goals for these sessions, whether it's parent to coach or player to coach or parent, player, and coach together, figuring out goals for what we're trying to accomplish. From a trainer perspective, what am I doing with this athlete? What are we trying to improve? Is he just coming, because if he doesn't have an appointment, he's not going to practice on his own, so the parent's willing to pay for that opportunity to practice. So am I just there for motivation? Am I there for skill development? Am I just there to be, a big brother to that player and help him through his awkward teenage years? What's the purpose of my, my sessions with this player? And again, being there for motivational purposes or social support doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just different. And as long as we acknowledge those differences, and that's what the parent or the player wants from that, money spent or time spent, great. But if we're, selling that we're developing skills, but really we're just there for social support, now we're not giving, what they're paying for. And oftentimes, the parent or the player may not even know the difference. So again, individual training to me, I think should be more focused on the deliberate practice, and there probably should be an endpoint to that relationship. It shouldn't be an ongoing, forever relationship. It should be, well, I have a problem. I found somebody who's an expert in this area who can help fix this problem. And once it's fixed, then I can move on and return to my team and work on my skills within my team practices and on my own and in other areas, pickup games, etc. And maybe I don't need to work with this individual trainer because I've accomplished the goal. We set out to fix this thing. He came up with some great drills. He gave me some great feedback. I managed to accomplish the goal. And now either we need to set a new goal to work towards, or maybe that's the end of our relationship, and I go back to my team and focus on the more competitive elements of my development.